Hello yoga family, hello yoga community. Welcome to my channel, the best place to practice yoga for your body, mind, and soul. This is a restorative yin flow to nourish yourself, to recharge yourself. I am going to recommend that you either have a bolster or a block available to you. If you've got a blanket, grab that. And if you have no props, I'll offer variations along the way so that you can still participate. We are going to begin in an upright seated posture. Please come join me here. And as you can see, I'm in cozy gear. Feel free to pause if you're not in your comfiest clothing and get into them so you can really allow yourself to settle in and receive this nourishment. Upright seated posture. When you're ready, roots down, lift up through your crown. Place one hand on the belly, one hand over the heart. Invitation to close down your eyes. Feel free to audibly exhale, release any tension, any resistance. And I'd love for you to bring into your awareness what you are restoring for. Why are you choosing to nourish yourself in this way? For me, I'm choosing to restore and nourish myself so I can be present with my daughter when she wakes up from her nap, so that I can tend to our home, so that I can give my energy to my business, so I can lead my team, so I can be a loving wife. So just take a moment and bring into your awareness, why are you doing this? Why are you here? So that you can feel so much better about your decision to step on your mat today. And even better when you step off it and return to your day. And out of the long laundry list of things that you are responsible for and that you're wanting to make progress towards, really bring into your awareness the one thing today that you're re-nourishing yourself for, that you're recharging for. Beautiful. Open your eyes. We'll begin with Bramari breath, or what's known as B breath. We inhale through the nose and we audibly exhale with the mouth shut. We create a humming or bee-like sound. So we inhale through the nose and then keeping the mouth closed, we hum and create this bee-like sound on the exhale. And I also like to add in the hands as an added element to really draw the senses inward and create the conditions for what's called pratyahara, which is one of the 8 components or 8 limbs from the Yoga Sutras. And that's where we draw the senses inward so that we can really be present for whatever it is we're doing in this moment, which is our yoga practice. So to do that, the thumbs will rest here on the ears and they'll close the ears off. And then the fingers will rest here across the face, closing the eyes down. And so take a moment to gaze up here and see how my fingers are positioned. And then you'll close the ears off. Inhale through the nose. Exhale as you hum. Inhale through the nose. Last time, inhale through the nose. Release the hands, bring them back to rest atop the thighs. Take a reset breath. Notice how your state of being has already shifted. It's down regulated. And we're going to come into downward facing dog. A bit of a more active posture. You can either rest the forehead on a block like so, or you can rest your forehead on a bolster and even place a block atop the bolster and just judge how much prop you need. If you have no props, you simply can hold down dog. We'll be here for 3 minutes and you can come down and take breaks in child's pose. So this is obviously more of a restorative Adho Mukha Svanasana. So I recommend taking the feet wider, letting the knees bend. And so for my body, having a block on top of the bolster is really nice. Experiment with the height of your props if you're using them, but then do firm the arms so that they can support you here. And I'm on the balls of my feet, bend in the knees, really sending my sacrum up towards the ceiling here. Navel pulling up. Forehead softening into the props that I'm using. Consciously inhaling and exhaling. So I heavily rely on the chakra system to guide my teachings and my practice and my experiences off the mat. And so when the third eye, the space between the brows, the Ajna chakra, and the top of the head, crown chakra, Sahasrara, are connected to a prop like this or simply in an inverted state, I like to think of all the thoughts, all the self-doubts, the critical thoughts, the thoughts that are rooted in perfectionism, the thoughts that are keeping me stuck or small. I like to think of them all pouring out. And using this pose as an opportunity to make space for my wisdom body, my higher realms of consciousness to awaken and come online, and ask those elements, those qualities of my being to support me. Often those qualities wait to be spoken to, whereas our inner critic, the self-doubts, the criticisms, the perfectionism, they don't wait. They're readily available. And so 30 more seconds, just like that. Let all those thoughts, beliefs, stories that don't serve you pour out here. Last breath. Soften knees down. Coming into child's pose, you can place a block underneath your head for child's pose, or if you're using the bolster, bring it in towards your groin. And if you've got extra props, invitation to prop the bolster up just a bit. We'll be here for 3 minutes. We'll do 1.5 minutes on each side, each ear, okay? So draping the chest over whatever prop you're using towards the earth plane or over your bolster. And settling in for 1.5 minutes here. Keep the breath present. Soft, steady inhale and exhale. Remember who or why you are choosing to recharge. Yes, the mind will wander because that's what's familiar. And then as yoga students, we use the breath to come back again and again and again. Okay, slowly lift yourself if you're using a bolster. If you have your head resting on the earth plane or a block, you'll stay where you are. Otherwise, if you're on a bolster, reset opposite ear to the bolster. Three final breaths. Place hands into the mat. Begin to lift yourself upright. Wonderful. Coming into a supported twist. Those of you using a bolster on a block, that works great. Those of you without props, you can come down onto forearms. If you have two blocks, you can place forearms onto the blocks. The right hip is going to join with the bottom of the bolster. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold over the bolster. If you have extra mobility in the neck, the left ear can come down, or you can start with the right ear and then transition. We're here for 90 seconds. Notice where you can allow yourself to let go. Notice if there's unnecessary efforting happening somewhere in the body. Invitation to scan from the feet all the way up to the head, gently and thoroughly. Last 3 breaths. Begin to lift back up and simply switch sides. Left hip will now be towards the bottom of the bolster or blocks if you're using them. Feet are staggered. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to lower the body down, either to forearms, atop blocks, or onto your bolster here. And again, you can start with the left ear down. If you have extra mobility, you can switch to the right ear. And we're here for 90 seconds. Final 3 breaths. Begin to walk the body back into an upright posture. And we're coming to lie on our backs in a bridge-like pose position. If you've got a block, you can place it on the lowest setting or the medium setting. This is medium, this is lowest, underneath the sacrum. If you're without props, totally fine. You'll lay down on your back in bridge pose, all the same. If you've got a bolster, again, lay down on your back, bridge pose. Takes me a minute to get to bridge these days. After having a C-section, I can't just lie back, which is a very strange adjustment that I'm learning to make, or unfamiliar, I should say. Okay, we want the tailbone descending towards the heels here. And coming into a really delicious hip flexor stretch. All of us will extend the left leg long and make any adjustments you need here as far as the positioning of the pelvis. Resetting my clock. Right knee will come into the chest. And we'll be here for 90 seconds. You can interlace your hand behind the thigh, maybe around the shin, whatever feels best for you. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Let the skull be heavy here. Chin pointing down towards the chest. Upper body relaxing into the mat. And this is a strong sensation for me. For the left leg here, the hip flexor, the front of my leg. If it's the same for you, drop your breath down into that part of your body. Three final breaths here. Bend the left leg, foot plants, release the right leg to the earth plane. Pause for a moment here, reset. Extend right leg long, left knee in towards the chest now. Choosing where you'll clasp on this side. And settling in for 90 more seconds. Again, back of the skull, growing heavy, supported by the earth plane. Back of the neck lengthening, chin reaching towards chest. Upper body, letting go. Front of the right hip, receiving nourishment in the form of a stretch. Whole body supported. Last three breaths. Placing the left foot down. Bend the right knee once again. Readjust the pelvis so that the prop is directly on the sacrum and you feel the low back draping down towards the mat. If you're not on a prop, you're fine just as you are. Coming into waterfall pose, bend the knees into the chest, both of them, and extend both legs up towards the sky here. Knees can be bent, hands can rest on belly or out to the sides. Resetting our clock for 3 minutes. Allowing ourselves to decompress is such a gift, such an act of self-care, courageous self-care. I know in my day that is very full, stopping for practices like these seems silly, insignificant, unnecessary. And then when I gift myself this type of practice, everything else simplifies, clarifies, and I'm able to approach life with discernment, discipline, devotion. It's like I shed whatever skin I was wearing and I start anew again. And personally, for me, having practiced over a decade now, this is the type of practice that I really need. After years and years of vinyasa and power, those don't serve me as much as these nourishing, relaxing, regenerative type of practices. And yet I resist them, right? The mind wants us to believe they aren't necessary, that we can only use our time to move quickly, burn calories, etc., etc. So I'm working on changing that story. I invite you to join me. Last 30 seconds here. Begin those 3 final breaths. Collective inhale together, followed by a collective exhale. Bring the feet back to the earth plane. Roll onto one side. Make your way into an upright seated posture, please. Using props, if you have them, to support you in any way. Coming back to B breath. Thumbs gently close the ears. Fingers drape across the face. We'll take 3 of these breaths. Inhale through the nose. Release the hands, let them rest atop the thighs. Take a final moment. Notice how clear and rejuvenated you feel. Come back to your intention, the reason that you are choosing to be here, why you're restoring yourself, for what or for whom. Hands into prayer, borders of the thumb, connect with the sternum. Let's close with a soft Om together. Inhale. Begin to slowly open your eyes. That was incredible. Thank you for taking the time to gift yourself this experience so that you can devote your resources to whatever it is that you are devoting them to, whatever is important in your life right now, today. Hey, if you love practicing with me, if you're interested in diving deeper into the yoga beyond asana, beyond physical poses, get my yoga reset guide. It's down in the description below. It's a 7-step journey that takes you through the chakra system to recenter and reset your body, mind, and soul. You're going to learn, you're going to practice on and off your mat and experience a lot of different modalities to tap into this resetting process through the chakra system. Again, that link is in the description below. I can't wait for you to get it in your inbox and in your hands. Now, okay, the real work begins, right? We got to take everything we cultivated off the mat on the mat, off the mat, and apply it into and onto our lives. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll meet you back here to keep practicing yoga holistically.